I'm Morgan, and this one honestly surprised me the first time I dug in. Two people can buy the same car, same software, and still have totally different legal limits. Same buttons on the wheel, different rules on the road. That gap is not just paperwork. It changes how fast features roll out, who pays after a crash, and even how recalls work. Quick map for you because, yeah, it gets confusing fast. The world uses the SAE levels from 0 to 5. It is the common language, even when the rules are not. Level 2 means the car helps, but you stay in charge. Level 3 means the system drives in narrow zones and can hand control back to you. That jump sounds small, but it changes who is expected to catch mistakes. That single step from 2 to 3 is where governments split. In parts of Europe, there is a formal way to approve certain level 3 lane keeping on highways. In the US, the federal approach is still mostly voluntary, with states layering their own test rules. In China, even software updates for self-driving get pre-approval, like mini recalls before they ship. Different vibe, same safety goal on paper. You see the pattern already, right? Regulators pull different levers, and the car you own behaves by the book where you live. If this sounds like the kind of messy but real talk you want more of, that's what we do here at Recall Roadmap with Morgan, so yeah, subscribe if you want in. What does your car actually let you do where you live? Stick with me, because the next part gets into who says yes, who says wait, and why that matters when your hands come off the wheel. Let's draw the line between Europe and the US, because it is not just culture, it is code and, honestly, law. Europe works through UNECE rules that countries adopt, like the one for automated lane keeping at level 3 on certain highways. That gives makers a clear door to knock on. Get approved, then switch on hands-off in that narrow lane keeping box. Clean, but narrow by design. Germany leans on that process, so you may see approved level 3 in slow-moving highway traffic when certified. It is tight, it is bounded, and it is audited. Now the US federal safety sets the floor, but the main program for self-driving oversight right now is voluntary. States write many of the day-to-day testing rules. Some require a safety driver. Some allow pilot zones. Some ask for permits and reports. So a car in one state can do driverless testing, while the same car in another state must keep a trained operator in the seat. That patchwork can speed experiments, but it can also confuse owners and police on what is allowed on a normal Tuesday. I like fast learning, but I also want one clear safety bar when hands leave the wheel. Where does that leave you if you commute across state lines? Hold that thought, because the next stop adds China and the UK, and the story twists again around software and blame. China flips the script on updates. If the software touches autonomous functions, the maker needs government approval before it rolls out. Think of it like a gate that checks safety before the code reaches your driveway. It is a guardrail up front, not after. That can slow flashy features, but it also forces a paper trail that looks a lot like a recall review. In the US and much of Europe, over-the-air patches still flow under the normal recall system. Companies report defects, regulators can order action, and owners get fixes after the fact. Different clocks, different power moves. Now the UK. Britain is building national rules with a defined framework for automated driving and liability. In plain words, the system says who is on the hook when the car is driving itself versus when you are. That clarity matters for insurance, crash reports, and how fast companies risk turning features on. Testing rules vary too. Some places demand a safety driver or a remote operator. Others allow limited driverless pilots if the company meets reporting and safety case steps. None of that is magic. It is just paperwork that decides how brave you feel pressing the hands-off button. If your car offers level 2 today, what happens to you if a pop-up says level 3 is available after an update? Keep going, because I want to tell you about the first time I sat in a legal level 3 demo and why I did not relax, even when the car said it had it. I remember the hum in my chest more than the car. We were on a divided highway, slow traffic, and the screen said the system could take over. Hands off was allowed in that narrow bubble. I lifted my fingers and felt, honestly, wrong. Like letting go of a bike and hoping the hill is kind. My shoulders crept up without me noticing. The tech did fine. Kept lane, followed the leader. But my brain kept whispering, be ready. Because even in a place with formal approval, the rule still says the system can hand control back. And in other places I work, the same badge on the same wheel stays at level 2, which means I must stay fully in the loop. I love progress. I also carry crash reports in my bag, and those make me cautious. People ask me if a safety driver is enough. I think a trained human helps, but it is not a force field, and the rules should not pretend it is. So I tell folks, this one boring, golden step. Open your manual. Open your local law site. Match the feature name to the level and the place. Then decide if hands-off is actually legal today. Would you trust the car for that next mile if the law and the screen both said yes? Next up, I will give you a simple checklist you can use before you tap enable on any hands-off feature, and it can save you money and stress. Here's the checklist I use, and it is simple on purpose. 1. Name the level, no guessing. If it is level 2, you drive. If it is level 3, the system drives only in the defined zone and can call you back. 2. Check the map. Europe may allow certain level 3 on highways under UNECE rules, while the US stays voluntary at the federal level with state layers, and China pre-clears AV updates like recalls. 3. Check liability. If the system is driving, know who pays if something goes wrong where you live. 4. Update rules. Know whether a fix auto installs or an agency needs to approve it first. 5. Test plan. Know if there is a safety driver or a remote operator in your area when companies trial new code. Do these 5 before you enable hands-off, and you will avoid messy tickets, denied claims, and that sinking feeling in your gut. If this helped, thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more clear, safety-first guides from Recall Roadmap with Morgan. We have deep dives on recalls, software patches, and real owner checklists, so queue up the next episode and keep learning before your next drive. If the car can legally drive itself in one country and not the next, what do you want the rule to protect first?